And so if we make assumptions based off of research, market data, customer feedback, like we still may get it wrong. And so the ability to tap into affiliates that look at us as partners and say, hey, is this something you think would work in real life? What would you change about this? Would you use this? And give them the ability to just share that real feedback. Like all you're doing is just amplifying their desire to want to continue to work with you.
All right, Jordan, welcome to the podcast. It's great to have you on. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, sir. How you doing?
Very well, very well. We're in our new offices here in Santa Barbara. But speaking of excited, I am excited to talk to you today. I think first thing probably will help everybody is just to get level set on who SharkNinja is and maybe some of the other business units, just so people understand kind of your world.
Sounds good. Yeah, I know. So again, appreciate you having me. I think SharkNinja itself is not well known as one individual company. I think for avid fans or users of the product, we are Ninja Kitchen formerly, and then Shark Clean. So think of your vacuums, your air purifiers, all the way down to some of your beauty products. And then on the Ninja side, obviously, most well known for some of those viral products like the Creamy and the Slushy. So those are the main, I guess, pillars within the SharkNinja ecosystem. I oversee the programs at Canada, US, and Mexico, which is very, very new. And then most recently, again, trying to pioneer some crossover where affiliate and social can play a little closer together.
So how long has affiliate been part of the mix?
The affiliate program in the US has been active only since like 2018. So it's still relatively new. Consider it just, we'll round up to eight whole years here. But I took it over in 2022. The first 4-ish years of existence, it was very lower funnel, very cookie cutter, what you would expect. It was kind of touched in hodgepodge by PR folks and anyone who had free time, essentially. So the US program has seen a lot of growth in 8 years, let alone the 4 that I've had the pleasure to work on it. And then Canada itself has been live for, I think it just had its 2-year mark. And then Mexico, we're crawling our way to 2 months. So it has been here for a while. I think the growth that we speak to about having programs in Mexico and then now fully covering North America just speaks to the impact affiliate has to our business and the viability of the channel as a whole.
I guess speaking of just North America, when did creators start to come into the mix and how?
I'd say they've been around and part of our plan for probably like 10 years at least. But we recently, and I say recently, probably as in 2020, late 2022, harnessed the power of trying to be more social first. And so now we almost don't launch products without there being a very aggressive creator strategy as part of that play. And the first place we're going to go is through, less of a traditional social approach. And we go to those third party, social personas that we can have tell that story on our behalf. And so I've seen the evolution of that from the Flex Style, which is a product that we developed and launched in 2022 that, rivaled that of Dyson and launched Shark Beauty. And ultimately became, I guess, the beginning of our way of saying, hey, we're going to go into social as a viable channel tactic and try and layer that into every other piece of media that we touch, whether that's boosting, whether that's layering on an affiliate commission or a kicker on the back end. So I think for 4 strong years, we've been really dominant on putting social first. And then you talk about TikTok shop of it all, right? I think that's kind of just unleashed the beast as far as people really understanding that you don't have to be this uber creator with a mass following. You can be someone that's just got an opinion and can tell a story. And so I think at the crux of what SharkNinja does with the products that we develop, we're all about telling stories and trying to better people's lives. And I think we've built a community and we're trying to develop and grow that community to continue to do that on our behalf. So it's been a very unique progression of how creators have evolved, both from dedicated influencers all the way now to like this social commercial lens.
Yeah, so it sounds like most of what you are doing in creators in the beginning, kind of going creator first, was pay per post. Clearly,
Yeah,
right?
traditional. Yeah.
That's separate, obviously, from affiliate. How was that being measured? Was it just kind of more brand exposure and that was good enough?
It took its pretty atypical spot in being awareness driven, upper funnel solely. SharkNinja is unique in the fact that prior to probably the last 6 or 8 months, like the bulk of what we've done on pay to post has been used to get the rights to that content essentially, and then be able to boost it and whitelist it on our own platform. So that's where we've found the bulk of our strategy is, lean heavily into creators that have big avid followings and then double down with our own media budget. And I think, again, like the TikTok shop of it all is said like, hey, you don't have to be a big creator with a lot of following to be able to tell the right story. And so we don't necessarily go for macros. Like there's a lot of value in a micro that's just loves your brand, but can sell. And I think one thing that's had to change internally here is like our influencer team, how you have these specific KPIs like reach and impressions and weighted engagement rate and all the metrics that they look at. And so even as we start to play together a little bit, they've started to say, okay, maybe the, impression goal that I'm going for or the CPM doesn't have to be the specific mark if they can sell. We've met more in the middle to understand that there is common ground, especially if we were able to like educate up on what commission can do at the retailer level, at the .com level, and the unlocks that it does by more revenue you drive, the better chance you have of being more than a one-hit wonder pay-for-post creator.
So TikTok's been a big success. Like you said, the smaller ones are able to not only reach an audience. I think I've always felt, and I think other people see this too, is that under a certain number, whatever that number is, there's more authenticity, more engagement, and not as much just brand building than if you're just, some huge, giant influencer that it just seems like you're getting paid.
TikTok has opened the doors of, hey, even if you say Shark Partner, what's the difference of doing that or tagging a product in a video? Like at the end of the day, it's the same thing, right? Like it's just a matter of like how you perceive your value to your following. And if you've got a big following, that may impact you a little differently than someone that clearly is there to promote a product and they're not hiding it. But they don't need to be mutually exclusive anymore.
We talk about blurred lines. How do you see overlap or potential, I guess, coming together, confluence of affiliate and creators within the company?
What we're starting to see is that our CEO, our CCO, like a lot of these heavy hitters in our ELT team are very eager to understand what's working from a content style perspective. Clearly it converts, but like, is there learnings we can take as we go cast other creators that say, hey, you may be very specifically focused on, this style of content because that's what your audience is used to. But if you're tagging links and stories, then maybe you could try and approach it this way. This creator saw, 1 million GMV in the last 3 months by creating sense of urgency, reverse shopping behavior. Like, hey, I'm not going to buy this because it doesn't do this. We're kind of coaxing them into thinking we're going to return it after we then explain all the benefits of it. That does work for TikTok Shop. Could that translate to something like Instagram or YouTube? And I think the answer is yes, but we got to test it. So ELT is very involved in continuing to unblur those lines. And I think we're trying to create growth engines that exist where that TikTok creator we can pull the usage rights and boost them on social in a normal capacity. And perhaps like just their name and their recognition in TikTok does enough for us to drive actual sizable measurable growth more than just an EKG, in the POS data. So I see it as the person that has to manage the relationships with traditional affiliates or creators that aren't being spent, maybe aren't being paid $10,000 a post, to be like, hey, you're in some ways more valuable, right? Because you're driving measurable impact to the bottom line. So that plus the ongoing conversation of what, is EMV something you hang your hat on, or is it purely just a metric that people want to infer to help provide like a little bit more ROAS on some of the stuff that they're working on? Like we're trying to get away from EMV and purely focus on true GMV plus reach. And then again, how can we layer those on into more like a focused campaign? And leadership is bought in on that.
I mean, what are the mechanisms that you're trying to leverage, or are you, to track some of these pay-per-post partnerships? Are they unique promo codes? Are there actual links?
If you remove the TikTok shop element of it and you want to leverage creators on TikTok to drive back to .com or retail or whatever the case may be, we are utilizing primarily promo codes. There's auto attribution behind it that can help. Obviously, I think bear in mind it getting leaked and then someone else reaping the credit for that for you. But codes are definitely a big one. Links for sure. I think people still do link in bio, and that link tree is still very much so an active thing. Our VP of analytics is a former Googler himself, and so he's very much so focused on building out something with a tech partner called House. We're working on getting them off the ground as we speak to definitely measure things like spillover, retailer halo, etc. And then, honestly, I'm leaning more into some of our partners. Impact being one of them, but also some of these sub networks like ShopMy and LTK, because in some recent testing, we've realized the more we force creators to try and go into retailer specific programs, the less confident they are in their ability to convert and report back. So if we say, hey, let's just go engage the platforms that they're already using, ShopMy, LTK, whatever, let's have them, be an advocate on our behalf to say, hey, we'd like to just get insights into this campaign that we're funding. They're leveraging through you. It's a win-win scenario. We just want the visibility and the insights into that we can then track back to our side and our POS data. So it's kind of threefold, honestly, but it's been really easy, as much as not a lot of things are easy nowadays, to get buy-in from our vendors because I think they understand their value as well.
Are the ShopMys and everything else, is that going through your channel? So you're getting the metrics out of the affiliate and helping the other teams understand it? Or how does all this data even come together? Because it seems like it's just thrown on the table and it's like, how do I organize it?
It's a little twofold. So if it's organic or supporting .com, I'll get it from an organic perspective. But through brand partnerships or I guess our paid platform usage on something like ShopMy, we are able to, see that in those insights and get them to share through that data. So it's more so just teeing it up like, hey, we've got this campaign coming up to support Walmart or whatever. It's going to run from this time to this time. We're having everyone run through ShopMy. Like, we would love to get that data back. And then we have a full-blown social analytics team that's, taking all this in and running it through Snowflake and Power BI to say, hey, your campaign at .com did this with this creator. It didn't index correctly to where it would have seen it for Walmart. Like, why? And then we really engage the creator and the partner to figure out, was there a tracking issue? Was the price different at a different retailer that led someone to purchase somewhere else? But it's definitely a challenge because it's being ported in from a bunch of different places. There's not one clear place that we can, aggregate all this data and then optimize around.
So are there specific partners, like groups, or that you track and manage yourself that kind of, I guess you would consider creators, or the other teams? Everybody says these are creators too, or is it just, it's still just affiliate?
Yeah, so we lean in with the YouTube shopping program for sure. We use them all a little bit differently. If I've had a chance to interact with them, again, I think some of the obvious ones make sense. LTK ShopMy, YouTube shopping is a big one. I don't know if we planned on talking about it, but obviously we've got the Meta shopping that's just released this beta. That's going to be, I think, in my opinion, massive, especially because it's just going to rival TikTok Shop. But we lean in very heavily on a lot of those, but for different reasons, right? Between the AI within Google and the SERP results changing, I think we're leaning heavily into YouTube to help inform, consideration phase search tactics, be more mid upper funnel, but still, get exactly what the user's looking for when they hit search. And so YouTube definitely helps fuel that. Whereas, I think an LTK and a ShopMy and a Mavely may not, but they are definitely more full funnel creator ecosystems where people can look at them as, we need reach, we need impressions, we need awareness, but we also need to drive conversion. And so it's just about framing it up internally. I'd say this, the last 6-8 months, affiliate has been a buzzword internally, and I think it's been thrown around and used incorrectly at times.
How so?
I'm educating my influencer team who's booking pay for post on why they need to start reducing rates because of commission upside that creators should be bought in on. Better content, better performance, second and third repeat campaigns. And that's been a bit of an adjustment. So I think it's been, affiliate has been used as a buzzword that means if this, then this, when in reality, it's not guaranteed. And they're just lumping it into everything. So creators as an ecosystem internally still need to be defined a bit better. But we use a lot of them in different ways.
So from a budget standpoint, right, you've got pay per posts, you've got rev share through affiliate, you've got some hybrid probably on both sides. How is this being managed? If I'm a creator and I'm doing something, I don't know, on a social platform, but I'm also posting on YouTube or I have a blog, I mean, and you know me by name, I mean, how does this all get sorted out?
I absolutely do, because commission rates change by platform quite frequently, and there's a lack of education to the creator or to our influencer partners on where they should be driving their traffic to, based on their ability to earn more. SharkNinja is unique in the fact that our budgets aren't just, traditional affiliate is like by line of business. And even then, like, that's hard to force to happen. It's not how we operate, obviously. But when it comes to how we want to support products and campaigns internally, we don't just have Shark budget and we don't just have Ninja budget. It boils down to Ninja category SKU, right? And so however we get from A to Z to get that creator casted, wherever they drive to, we may or may not have control on where the commission comes from. With Impact, obviously, I do. With TikTok Shop, I do. With Walmart, I don't. With Amazon, I don't. If they don't take the time to do the due diligence on their end to ensure they're going to get commission on their traffic, like, they come back to us, they have more questions around why did I agree to this if I'm not getting paid out correctly. So it is a little bit all over the place on where to centralize the funding to be more brand focused versus product focused, and then honestly oiled down to be more retailer specific. There's more value in certain retailers and certain products because of the demand or the category control that exists there. Example being air purifiers. Bulk of air purifiers get sold, I think 70% gets sold on Amazon. So it's tough for us to say, let's only put 30% of our budget towards Amazon because we want to try and steal share of voice at Best Buy or Costco. Like, those programs are very different. Like, you should play where the demand is, and therefore the funding would come from that retailer versus that brand team's budget. Our traditional influencer team, Paid Social, they have their own budget. They have a campaign or a category or retailer to support. It's pay for posts. That's it. A little bit of boosting budget, done. We've now built out and hired 2 new folks. They started a couple weeks ago that are in our first and our social commerce role. They're a bridge between retail, affiliate, and paid social, but that's operating substantially more in a hybrid capacity. We're leveraging gifting more to help offset rates. We're looking at higher CPMs at the expense of revenue. And it's been scary for that team to change their way of thinking about how they go cast somebody, but take a couple swings. And some of these folks have absolutely worked out better than expected. And some of the ones we thought were great in a traditional paid influencer capacity have kind of flopped on their ability to actually drive purchase intent. So it's given us a lot of really good insights on ultimately how we build out an internal ecosystem of creators that we can rely on to drive revenue, depending on that campaign and that retailer.
When that team builds out a campaign, let's say it's a new product launch, is there any coordination or effort on the affiliate side to kind of be part of that campaign as well?
Our paid influencer team will get budget to go work with a select number of creators because they have an impression and a reach goal. Our social commercial team will get budget to kind of meet in the middle. And so there's an affiliates emphasis there where we're, again, helping them vet based off of their ability to sell. And so we'll look at things like ShopMy and LTK. We'll do creator research to understand their last 30 days GMV to validate whether or not we think this will work. Plus, obviously, looking at the content to make sure it's a good fit. And then affiliate helps kind of fuel that from the bottom up. So we'll do some product seeding to creators through a YouTube shopping, through an LTK gifting. And that also gives us an opportunity to understand these creators work within these platforms that we ultimately want to track through. And if they're raising their hand to take a product for free, just for the opportunity to post and get, new product access, like, that tells me they're probably someone we should funnel more up funnel to the social commercial team to, consider for the next campaign. And then similarly, like if the paid social team works with a macro or a mid-level creator and they actually do drive sales, which I'll be honest, most of the time they don't. But again, to be fair, their content isn't made to drive sales. It's made to educate on product, its brand. If someone converts well there, we'll drive them a little bit further down funnel as well. And we'll try and work our way towards that social commercial model where everyone wins realistically.
So do you have any examples of things that worked out really well and some of the moving pieces or specific partners that give us a better understanding of some of this at a more granular level?
The benefit of the affiliate partnership with social is that when creators see the power of performance content and it converts and they see commission, they're inclined, the unlock is they can do it whenever they want. They have access to our product feed. They can post whenever they want. We see it frequently with partners like, Bethany Frankel, good or bad example. She loves Shark Beauty. She posts frequently. When she does, we see those spikes. There's other folks like Alex Earl who just posted today about one of our products because she's going to Coachella. She doesn't link like we would want her to, but we see search intent and we see halo to typically an Amazon or a D2C. But for the most part, like when we work with partners that are opted in, we absolutely love continuing to engage them. Like Bill Gates' daughter, Phoebe Gates, an active affiliate partner of ours because she has her own platform and she believes in the power of providing, a good story, a good product at a good price, and she'll take the commission all day. And I want to be able to continue to say, come back for more. I can almost guarantee at least a better return than we would have if we just let her organically post in.
Right. Yeah. And I guess that organic posts get on your radar. And even if they aren't a partner, then that gives you the opportunity to reach out to them and maybe fine tune things as you kind of described.
It just opens the door, right? If they tag us and we haven't paid for it, or it's just an organic partnership, like actually Alex Earl was an organic partnership that came to fruition from our Cryo Glow face mask that launched the March of last year. I think she got it herself, posted about it, and then she's now a brand ambassador, I'll call her. We're on an annual deal, but it doesn't take much to get our attention, especially if like you talk about the product in the right way and you have like a good resonating following and are open to a partnership.
Like you said, that's the one thing I really love about performance creators or whatever they're going to be called, is that they can find a product they like and post about it through the affiliate program and have a ready-made commission set with it. And that creates a kind of a momentum, like an always on versus campaigns, which are more, a spike. And I imagine that even the management sees that as a really powerful thing, that you kind of got this constant current, and then you can create these waves through the social team with the campaigns.
I'll say this, it's even gotten to the point where like we are trying to go maybe even a level deeper, and I think unlock an advocacy style program, right? Like consumers also want to talk about our product and they just may not be on our radar from a social commercial or paid social influencer perspective, but they're valuable. More often than not, like to unlock those folks, you just need to show them you're paying attention, create a little bit of an entice and intrigue outside of a small commission to get them to continue to speak on your behalf. So we're double clicking even a layer down to find more untraditional affiliates that are just super fans of our products and want to be able to talk about it.
That's really been our focus, is those three buckets, right? You've got affiliate, you've got creators, and you've got advocates or customers, right? And to me, those are the three buckets where you can get third-party trusted validation or influence of your products. That is what the consumer values most, right? I see something I like, or I see something somebody I know has, and I think it's interesting, and they tell me about it, and I'm more likely to buy it than seeing an ad, right? So, how does the company? Obviously the company gets it because you're getting the user generated content and putting it in your own social media, and that right there to me is 100% validation. But it seems like doubling down or going deeper into more of an advocate program. Um, is the company see that as kind of aligning the way I just kind of described it, or is it not really been discussed yet? You're going to wow them with that, or what's going on?
I mean, peek behind the curtains. I'm trying to wow them with it. So the downside of affiliate in this capacity is that there's lack of control of content. And so a big conversation with ELT has been brand-accretive affiliates that are talking positively. They know how the product works. They know how to say it correctly. And we're not just simply hammering promo messaging or discount deal and devaluing the brand. And so the advocacy portion of things, I think, is where we unlock more of the brand-accretive partners that want to talk about our brand the right way and want to tell their story. And I think at the end of the day, for me, I want to give them the power to do so. And if all it takes is a like on their comment or the opportunity to like speak to a product team member and give their feedback on a new product, like I'll absolutely do that, because then they're not going to say, they're going to be educated and they're going to want to continue to unlock those opportunities. So they're going to say everything correctly about our product. That's why I'm trying to tee it up to leadership as something we absolutely should invest in, because, it builds our community, it builds our credibility, it also builds our, bottom line.
Yeah, and I think one of the challenges a lot of business, or one of the opportunities that a lot of companies aren't aware of, is their customer base. Like a lot of their customer base some of them are affiliates, some of them are creators, and figuring that out is not easy. And I think when you can engage a real customer who is also a creator or an affiliate, it's so much more powerful, because you can have a conversation with them and things start happening quicker. And I know when we launched or were building out our advocate program, our product, one of the things we thought would be interesting, and it's resonating, is that we can take a customer list and then spit back to you. These are customers of yours that are creators and active creators, whether it's just makeup or something else. And these are ones that are acting as affiliates, which again, it's kind of like picking out all the needles in a haystack, right? You don't need to go through the haystack anymore. Here's just a pile of needles, which I think that's something that is an easy way to get started with your customers, right? Because they're already doing this, right? This low-hanging fruit.
Our goal is to develop products that solve a problem, right? And so if we make assumptions based off of research, market data, customer feedback, like we still may get it wrong. And so an advocacy program or the ability to tap into affiliates that look at us as partners, which we are, and say, hey, is this something you think would work in real life? What would you change about this? Would you use this? And give them the ability to just share that real feedback. Like all you're doing is just amplifying their desire to want to continue to work with you.
Historically, a lot of these advocate teams been managed by the CRM team, and all they do is hammer them with emails. And it's, not to say I'm not putting this in a bad thing, but I think affiliate managers are really good at herding cats, right? There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of personalities, a lot of things that you have to deal with at an individual level, even when you're dealing with an affiliate that's a company. And I think an advocate program kind of aligns with the way an affiliate team is used to working with people. And I think we're seeing that more and more. I'm always surprised at how many companies don't have an advocacy program.
You get out of it what you put into it, right? So like a lot of them want it to be a self-fulfilling prophecy on the back of a loyalty program, when it's not. It's very different from a loyalty program. It's a community. And I think, to your point, like the affiliate mindset and persona within a company is perfectly primed to run that. I'd say even more so with the social commercial team, I think we're probably going to push it more towards that team running it, because they can see the best of both worlds, right? It's shocking the number of companies that just leave it to the wayside because it's, not as fruitful as they wanted it to be, but they didn't give it the time of day.
There's probably a lot more runway here that we're going to be going down. And, so again, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing all this. And I appreciate your enthusiasm. And the one thing I wanted to mention just real quick is, because you're able to talk to this stuff, it's because you're not just heads down in your own silo. And I think that's a really important point here, is like, be curious, talk to other teams, you know what I mean? help them know what you're doing, learn what they're doing. That's how companies evolve in a more coordinated way, as opposed to, more chaos and, conflict. You don't want to, that's mine. No, I know that guy. I talked to him yesterday. You don't want that. You want everybody working together, right?
Yeah, one band, one sound. It's been really easy to poke my head into places where it probably doesn't belong. But I think we're a big company, but we move very, very quickly because we're not afraid to take risks, take chances, make bets on what we see in the market. I think honestly, tying this all back to being social first, like a lot of it has to do with how we're developing products going to market and the teams that we need to kind of be in lockstep to be able to bring a product to life. So it's been a lot of fun to cross those swim lanes for sure, and not to become a subject matter expert to an extent in places that I wouldn't have thought I'd been, 2, 3, 4 years ago. So
Awesome. Great job. And again, thanks for coming on and sharing all this. Because again, I think everybody's got their own challenges, and there's something to take away from everybody's perspective here. So again, thanks again for sharing. And yeah, we'll talk to you again, maybe catch up and hear how things have evolved in a bit.
see you at IPX. Thanks for having me.